Right, thank you so much, ladies. This excites me to be in a room full of women. A country is built by women. The world is built by women. The Bible says, mukazi akangwara anovaka imba yake nichi. Sakanza anovaka. Well, when we say imba in English, the word that is used in the English Bible is they build a home. It's not a house. It's not having a 9 or a 64-bedded bedroom. This is not the question here. Anovaka musha. And kuwaka musha is not easy, guys. It's a journey. It's not about material things. So today we are going to talk about proper, solid stuff. And forgive me if I go deep, because this is my passion. I do this because I love to see women making a difference. And I'm hoping that by the end of this workshop, your mind is going to be open. You are not going to limit yourself to Zimbabwe. I want you guys to open up to Africa, because we are the Africans. We are the Africans with the African story. And Africa is only going to be changed by people who understand the African problems. And my solutions are momonomso. Akazara. Anyway, before we start, and before I introduce myself, I just want you to tell me 2 things. Let's look at 2 or 3 things that you can't do without in this 21st century. We want to identify these things. And then we are going to go into my topic today. Chichocho. Smartphone. Koramwe. Tissue. Tissue paper chayo we can't do without, right? Money. I want you to write these things down in your notebook. Now, I'm hoping that we all have notebooks or phone note, whichever you are using. Okay? Because I'm going to talk about very pertinent things today. Sakata identify anditi. Tati phonica. Tati chi. Tissue. It's called toilet paper, but in Zimbabwe, tissue is the word we know. Just like my robots. Okay. Yeah, what else? Internet data, right? Connectivity is important. Now, what are the things that our children can't do without? What else? Our children. Attention. Because these are the things that we need every day. So, I'm going to introduce myself, but what I'm going to do is I've put some slides, just a few slides to just run through introduction. So let's hope I can find them here. Yeah, that's it. So this is the advert that I put online, taking bold action for success in business and in life. And if you were not afraid, what would you be doing right now? We're going to look at those things. Okay? And I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to be you. I want you to stop looking at the woman next to you and focus on you. This is about you today. And I'm going to really drill down on that. But before I do that, let me look for a slide about my story. This is what I want you to know. And so when you see me go crazy and work hard, I know where I'm coming from. And I know where I don't want to go back to. Right? So I'm focused. And I want you to be you. That's why in that next to you. This is about you guys. I went back to Kadoma a few years back. Each time I visit, I go to Kadoma because I like to connect with where I came from. That is important to me. Because I won't lose track. I won't measure myself against the next woman because I don't know where she's coming from. Yeah. So I want to measure my own progress. Progress is what I measure. So I went back and I thought I want to write a book about my journey. And so I captured these images. This is my father's house where we grew up in Rumuka Kadoma. My mother and father, we were 8 children. 8 children. And let me tell you a little bit about my father. He was a baby planter. And so even though takanga tiri 8 tichigara imomo, there was more. everywhere in this Zimbabwe. Takawan, I think we are 25. Recently, we've just buried my very first brother, who is my dad's first child. Akafa South Africa. And he was now 65. I've never met him. And him. But my brother, who comes after me, akati no. We'll take the body and go and bury in Zimbabwe. But I don't know this guy. So I'm just trying to give you another background about my life, right? So my mother, we are 8, and my father has got time foot to go and plant more kids, right? And he can't look after the 8 right now. And it used to drive me mad as a child. I remember when I was 5 years old. She was an amazing woman, and she still is the queen because she worked so damn hard. Vasuna needs a uniform here. And this one particular guy, my class, laughed at me. You know, this nyaye bullying, it's real. Yeah. It's real in our kids. He laughed at me. Your parents can't even afford in Makawan. And I remember the answer I gave him when I was 5. I entered grade 1 because I went to school early because I'm a January baby. So I said to him, Philip, this is not my life. In any case, when I grow up, I'm not going to have this life. That was my statement. When I was 5, I made that decision. It's a no. This is not acceptable for anybody. So I want to ask you the question today, because I want you to connect with Annie. This success, it comes from here. I cannot teach you, guys, because I can give you the motivation like I'm doing today. But when you go home, you face the real challenges. Yes, success. It's that ndikarota hopes and shirota imba ish. I wake up with energy. I'm not going back, God. Okay, I'm not going back, God. Please. So that's what drives me. So for you, find that one thing that's going to drive you. It's not easy. I wish I could tell you it's easy. So I want to make that clear. Disclaimer, yo. It's not. It's not bread and butter. But is it doable? Yes. Because I'm here to talk to you about this. Right? So connect with yourself. Who are you? Where are you coming from? And what do you want? If you can answer those questions. What do you want, Iwewe? For you. When I was that age, per 5 years, I had 3 things that I wanted. I didn't want that life. And you know what? Baba wangu wepinda chichi mapostori. You know mapostori echimbwaya. That's where I'm coming from, guys. In the community, and we used to be ridiculed for kupinda chichi. So much that when I was grade 7, tata kutiza, we would sneak to Indaguzayoji. Because the community would ridicule us. But how did I have that energy to turn that ridiculing to positive? For me, you know what? 10 years from now, just give me a chance. It will be a different story. So you must be willing to change your story. All the negative experiences that you are experiencing right now, I don't care your situation, they are necessary. They are necessary so that you have got a point of reference. Yeah. I wouldn't be here. So embrace your negative experiences. Love them. Just ask God, Kuti, what lesson do I need to learn right now? Mari, what do I need to know? Chiko chandrufana go pick out of this issue. Because those are the things that build you. From me, kuvaikoko, and then walking that journey kushika where I am now. I embrace all my negative experiences. Good. So by God's grace, this is God's grace. Ndaenda uchikoro. I failed my O levels. Nditori repeat pa mungu ndo na ipapa. Kuto repeat O level. I know, she asked me to be real. Where is she? She said, Fungai, just be real. So I'm going to be raw. I'm not going to sugarcoat. And with me, what you see is what you get. Kutofuira form 4. Ndruka domakuya. Failed. But I was a brilliant student. I was munaitwara number 1 and 2. Primary yangu yes. But ndakwenda kwa high school, my dad loses his job. kamba ikaka kamaonaka, he sells it for $10,000. Ikakaka, he sells it for $10,000. You know what he goes and does? He goes and buys nice clothes, nice radio, nice TV. Meantime, atina pikugara after these 2 rooms. Ne vana vaya 8 vaya, no school fees. Kumusha, he had not invested. Kune round hati ya gogo na sekuru, ne kitchen, ne round hati ya vanorara, ne round hati ya tete. That was what was there. We moved kumusha kuya when I was grade 7, dakutanga form 1. I'm like, God, where is this life? Okay, so I ndakadziza kumusha 1 year, walking 13 kilometers to school. Did form 1. But my prayer and ndichenda chikora ikoko, I would say, God, just allow me. Just allow me. So ndakazofuira ka form 4 yacho because the challenges were just huge emotionally, everything. Then my grandmother, thank God for women. This is anikuda kunyatsa kuku. I need to, I don't know the words. Thank God for women. Thank God for you. Itakuti thank God for me. Because you can impact one woman's life at a time and you would have impacted the whole generation. If it wasn't for my grandmother who took me in, kutindiri daite olive young, I wouldn't be here. Guys, and you know what? While my grandmother was taking me in, I want to be real and raw. Amai vanguka, vakarorwa nemurume wavo wevakadzi vazhinji. She was not officially married traditionally. My mother is South African. My uncles who did not accept my dad because he was a Shona. So there was cultural issues going on. So my mother is suffering rejection in her own space from her family. I want to be real. Kumusha kwa vakarorwa, kumashona kwekwe. She's suffering rejection also because they say to my dad, how can you, of weseva cards vaoga try? Mosutu you. Yeah? So between my father and my mother, I'm the first child. So I was a rejected child. Because Pando Jarwa, my grandparents, they were expecting a boy. Murkonere nyachu. My issues are. Saka, my mother is a struggling woman. Financially, emotionally, socially. She has to deal with all these things. Wondi tora gogowangu wati Geli, my mom is called Geli. Ndipe mwana wandi garinai. I'll do my best. That's how my mother wakura nini baz vonondi siya kwa gogo. My uncles, they kicked off. My mother is from a family of 13. My uncles, they kicked off. You know the words they used, the strong words. Mama mungu tabasiri kuchengeta vana wema urenyu panapa. Because tangatiri 4 vana vaskana vakazara pambapaya. Guys, be careful of your words. I don't care what issues you're having as adults. You are responsible to build. Tati mkaza kangwara. You are responsible to build your homes. Be careful. You need wisdom. 3 things we need as women, we need to walk away with today. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You can have a lot of money, but can you see these 3 things? You are useless to the world. My grandmother had wisdom. So she said, Kunema uncle zangu, there's nothing I can do. These ones I have to look after. Do magarana kaita at my grandmother's till I wrote my O-levels. So I decided to go back to write all my O-levels, 8 subjects. Because I passed all of them with A's and B's. Right? Then there was a man who used to see me as kamwana kechikoro kanen kachingwe no chikoro kachizuka. He used to live close. He said, "Mwana hiyo ndo ganchikono chenda uchikoro." Wakanyora mali zao takabuda wakapasa ere. And my answer to him was yes. Akati phone number. Now those small acts of kindness, God uses people. Phone number e enda kuparenya tukwa hospital. Unaona mist ningi. Utinda kutuma. Unotsvaga nzvimbo uende kunoita nursing. That's how I became a nurse. All right? Saka imeme chinyatso kundiudza ikuti, what's your excuse? We're going to go deeper. There's no excuse in this life, guys. Work with what you have. Ukutori ni maziso zvako. Maoko emakombo unazo pfungwa dzichishanda. And you feel sorry for yourself. And you say, I'm only Zimbabwean. I'm only a single mom. I'm only married. Please, it's got nothing to do with all those people. This is about you. This is a personal journey. I don't care. And when people see you and judge you, I don't even care. I haven't got the time. Because I know nyayangu. I have got my own issue that I'm dealing with. I have got somewhere to go. Saka kuti ndiwane space in my 24 hours to worry about other things. I'm sorry, I don't. Because this is my background. Yeah? Saka, coming back to my slide. I am a nurse by profession. I have started so many businesses as well and they failed. Saka ndisikuda kukuti ndikuti whatever you start and you do with your hands right now, research chaita flourish. Actually, as a matter of fact, 70% of all startups, they fail. Okay? But what makes the difference is pick yourself up, dust. With boldness, start over again and move on. Andinda kuudza kuti apana andinakaini kuzvarwa nemari andina and apana all of us akazvarwa akaibata. But some of us are blessed enough to receive inheritance. Some of us are blessed enough to have provision. And that's a blessing. Don't take it for granted. But what do you do when you have it is what makes the difference. I want to make it clear. I really want to drill it down into the women. How much money in a year in comparison to what you spend on this have you invested? How much of that are you investing? And when I talk about investment, I'm not talking about joining my multi-level marketing and all these things. I'm talking about proper stuff, investing into is real estate. Kutenga zimba. When you hear the word real estate, you think it's complicated. It's not, as a matter of fact. Unogona utanga kutenga stand yeka na 10,000 kubudiriroko. Watopa property lad. What she was saying about Nyaze bank account, I'm coming back to that because that's important. You need to invest again in yourself in this because you are the most important asset in the whole game plan. I don't care if you are married or if you've got a partner. It's not even. Iwewe start with you. How much time and money are you investing where? Here. Here. Because here, can you imagine coming up from that to be able to transform my mind and think outside the box and realize the potential that is on the global marketplace, not only Zimbabwe, because if you focus on Zimbabwe, you would think the world is going to collapse tomorrow. So I don't want you to think it's what's going on. Plenty of opportunities. And then many people ask me, Fungai, when you're in Zimbabwe, you are so busy. You're busy with cheating because Zimbabwe hakuna chekuita ini. Are you for real? Like really? Seriously? Because there is so much opportunities and potential and I see them every day as I walk. So I want to unpack that to you and make sure you tap into it. So I have felt I could go through, if you talk about bankruptcy, now I'm like a Goethe. Because I know the journey and the law must teach you stories actual. But that experience, your foot, you go deep. It means now in the tenacity that I've got a thick skin in terms of risk taking. My risk appetite is bigger. Because I can calculate kuti even the down rock bottom. Take the biggest risk ever. I can lose my house, I can lose my money, I can lose everything. As long as I don't lose my life. The only thing chandringachke is death. Because then I'm gone. Everything else, Maria wina your bank account, you should be taking risks because it's not good enough yaka garaimomo. Yaona yokumba, you should be using it to take risks to invest because those no wins are imechi. Exactly. So that's what we are going to talk about. So, I want you to take that verse. More than that, we rejoice in our sufferings. And endurance produces character, because you find yourself on this journey. And you don't go nemepo. You know where you're going. You don't follow fashion trends. You follow you. And you identify yourself. You know what you want. Just be you. Really, I don't care. I want you to be you. With a tick and go is what you want to do. Never mind what other people are doing. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured into our lives and hearts through the Holy Spirit, and who has been given to us. And hope is the best thing that you can ever have. Every morning you wake up with hope. It's a beautiful place to be in. But you get to that place when you stop comparing yourself to the next person, when you stop worrying kuti name, I'm 2 rooms at the moment. You can downgrade anytime. I can go kunoroja 1 room. Kana chiriva kuti imba iyoyo ndikumboitengesa, ndomboita investment for now. Ndinotengesa because I've done it before. I can downgrade my car, ndofamba ne 2-wheeler. I'm cool. Because I don't care what everybody is looking at. I know where I'm going. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable. Saka ndina pressure yekufunga kuti vanhu vacha andina. And that's the place. Ukaona wapinda ipapo, you are in a better place. I want you guys to yearn for that, because what destroys us women is to follow the trends. What do you want? And actually, do you know that ukaona chini chukitwa ni munhu wese, go against the grain. Go against the grain. Identify that one thing that you want to follow against the grain and let the wind flow. But he will ziva kwe uruita say. Yeah, so this is my life. I'm married. I've been married 17 years. Right? So all I'm saying is, there is no formula to life. Guys, please be honest. I'm just being real. When I met my husband, actually I didn't want a boyfriend. I'm not having a boyfriend because I wasn't going to have a boyfriend. And I told him, Kuti, because of my experience, my father was abusive. I could spend the whole day. I was so anti-marriage. I didn't want to get married. And more so having children with what I had experienced. So this is a personal choice. I'm just being real, Kuti. Vakadzi, let's make personal choices. Let's not be influenced by Vanwarikunze to make my decision, which are a lifetime decision. Because once was Zaramwana, that's in 20 years. Nowadays, it's even up to 26 years commitment. Kushkapeza university. Yeah? Is that true, guys? Saka pressure ndeye chimbonya tsondudzai. And I'm happy with my situation. I don't complain to God. Honestly. And even if the other way around, if I had lived my life the other way around, one thing for sure is that I wouldn't have worked as hard to be where I am now. Because now I can afford to have a baby and travel the world with my nanny and homeschool that child. And that's my desire and my dream. And that's what I want. Right? So please, let me make this clear. Usapiwe pressure na someone. Kuita my life long-term decisions based on pressure ye muna uya kuzokuti na nasizo kadai. Yet muni you pone kuchisafa ni vanavaye or nema decisions aye. They are not there. Actually, they are the ones to laugh. And you know what? Again, in our this tradition yedu ne culture yedu, the same people. Until we ndio kushanda, or maybe ndio one business. Whether kuti you foot or batile kubata school fees, zevana wavo. Iwe wawaru kuti dai wazo dai. You understand? So I understand culture. I understand all these things, but bold decisions based on what you want for you, for your life, for your children, for your family, for your husband. The Bible says, my parents are kangwara. They leave a legacy. if we look at the word legacy, it means that the next generation vari kutangira vari kuma millions vari kutofunga kuti how do we spin what my parents have left us. At the moment in the African space totanga kuma minors, I mean inenda kuma minors, and then you have to work your way. It's hard, guys. So wouldn't you want the next generation kuti vagozo kuita iwewe icon kuti dai pasina mbuya ningi? It's because of mbuya ningi that we are like this, right? So this is me. That's all. I like to live fit. I like to travel holidays. I like to work hard. I am on a journey, my journey. And me and my husband, we are business partners. We are in sync. Iroriri, as I speak, he's in Prague. Tosangana kumba on Tuesday. That's our life. You make a decision. Kumba is in UK, by the way, so I'll meet him in UK. I'm flying out on Monday. Doshika Kumba, Tuesday morning, Kusen, we meet, we go home. We are together for a few weeks after that. All right? I'm only telling you my story so that you can connect with your situation. If you are a single mom, that's even brilliant. That's even brilliant because you don't report to nobody, right? I'm not, please, Munondu Raisa. Please don't record this bit. Please, Munondu Raisa. Marriage is a good thing and it's a beautiful thing only if you're married to the right person. Yeah. In any sure and akati, God forgive me. If I was going to be a pastor or a minister, God forbid. Because in the no pay no pira kuramban. Because why should you be with someone and pull back? So I don't want to go to there. I want to preach that one on another day. Let's go. Be bold for change. Musano siya zimba, guys. Okay. Connect with myself. Okay, we will come back to the slide. Second page are my slides. Right. So now let's go to talking. Now we can leave that slide on. Or we can switch off. Okay. Right. So, okay. So let's look at, this is our marketplace. Zimbabwe. Let me tell you something amazing. I've traveled the world, Ka. Zimbabwe is beautiful. Zimbabwe is beautiful with natural resources. It's beautiful with infrastructure. Anyone been to Nigeria? You can vouch. You can vouch. So why is it that we don't love and appreciate what we have? So in one thing I have told myself, and I believe 100% when I walk around the streets of Zimbabwe, I tell myself, God, this country is beautiful. What is it that we can make out of this country is what we need to look at. Because Zimbabwe is beautiful. Trust me, guys, I've been to countries where Muchizikapa Airport, I'm not joking, it's true. So, why do we feel sorry for ourselves and look down on ourselves? Kufunga kuti zvinhu zvakanaka zvichabva kunze uko. Zvinhu zvakanaka will start in this room today. So after having done my nursing, I left Zimbabwe, April 2000. Because I was a dreamer, I just got married and I told my husband, you need to promise me one thing. You marry, but I still go to UK. So we agreed, I went, came back, lived in Zimbabwe. To cut the long story short, we packed our bags, our small suitcases, and we went. Worked for a year in the UK, and in the second year, we started our healthcare recruitment business. In a culture where, from where? No, because you guys feel sorry for yourself and say, hey, it's not being humble when you can't be confident. Not being confident is not being humble. Guys, again, where does that come from? The way we are raised up. We are raised up, we must look down. And we must only listen and be told and not challenge. And so, number one step you are going to take from this breakfast meeting when you get home, approach your demons. What issues are you suffering right now that are stopping you from being confident? Think about it. Would you walk in any of the minister's office and go and be bold and tell the minister, Minister, who is the mayor of roads, and go and tell them, this is not acceptable. This is the boldness we are looking from women. Saka ndoda kuti uende unozvifuta in that scenario, and then think of all the things that are saying in your head. Why not? Because those are the things you need to deal with, and those are personal things. Some will say, it's my body, I don't like, I don't feel comfortable. Some will say, it's my skin. Some will say, it's my hair. Think about that, because for me, I went through that journey. For me, it was my body. I started going to the gym and working out to look good. It was my hair. I thought, you know what? I want to be me. I want to be free. So I went natural. There are small things that you can do with you. Shinokubatsira iwewe as a person. Can you walk? Actually, I've got a picture. I can go to the cinemas in my pajamas. For real. When I'm traveling, I travel very simple. My jeans, my t-shirt, my shoes, and then in my bag always is my onesie. As soon as I get on the plane, I don't care who I'm sitting next to. Tie my hair because my hair needs to look pretty in that buruga. Onesie yangu. I don't care who I'm sitting next to. Why should I worry? It's being able to be in that place. And then I can go to Kuma shops in my pajamas and my slippers. Why should I worry kuti ndochika kubuda mama sina weave sina makeup? Again, because I'm not accepting myself when I do that. These are serious issues. If you can't confront them, you will not be confident to sit in a boardroom full of men and challenge them. Because iwewe unofila inadequate. Nobody hapana arikumbo kuti uri inadequate. But iwewe as a person unofila inadequate, kana usina weave, kana usina makeup, kana usina chine. What would happen to you if we take away all those things? That's the person we want. Usina motkari za uno driver. Usiza gari zimbara uno gara. Usisa shande basara uno shanda. Usisa ite journita. Who is inside there? Is what we want to deal with. If we can bring out that person, we have arrived. Does that make sense, guys? Because we should not identify ourselves with possessions. The Bible says Job was stripped of everything. Jesse, can you imagine? But he did not lose his faith. He kept on standing. And if what we have or what we think was to be taken away, what would happen to our soul? I'll give you another example. Because I just want to be real. Ipo pano pandirapa. Nditori nemusha wangu kwa mtoko. Ndakavaka musha wangu kwa mtoko. Because I don't like to be in Harare. Kana ndiri free. I want kunofurwa nemepo, shut down and restart. So what did I do? Vake musha wangu, kite musha wangu. I have got vanwa norima. I eat fresh produce. I don't believe in buying food in supermarkets. I could go on. I'm extreme. But it's working for me. Saka ndashika kumusha kwekwe. Chimatinesi zangu, chi outfit changu. Mama, what's Nis doing? Mukitchen, tobika, todini. 2 days, 5 days. I leave my mother-in-law. She was in here, she would tell you. Ndozo wira kwa rare kwangu. Shwechi Mrs. Ndoenda kunetuka ma nails. Ndoita. Ndozoka ku Mrs. wangu. So, I go kumusha more than one. I've been here 3 weeks. I've already been kumusha and I'm going back Sunday. What am I saying, guys? It's because you don't appreciate what you have. Kumusha is free land. Free mvura. Muturini kumusha kunotonzi kumusha kuwenyu. I say you are living in this Harare. And you don't even know kurodi kumusha kwenyu. I'm challenging you to be bold for what? For change. I'll tell you the lesson I learned. I'll tell you. We have got a sawmilling plant, Kuchmani man. When we were given that sawmilling plant, when we took it, kucheka mapranga, and all that. When I went there, I was shocked. What shocked me and made me sad was that vast lands, vast land, all the nice places, They my bosses vari kushandisa vanhu. And what are these people? They're whites. We were only going to be the first black team that was going to go there. But again, when I sat down to have a conversation with them, because now I want to understand, you know what they tell me? They tell me, avana expense ka, akubhadala ma bills ka. Akubhadala ma bills. Hakuna ma rates, imi mchibhadala cancel ma rates vasiri kugadzira nzira. Motikari dzavo mashokisi akanaka because dzavo nzira vanongopinda highway. And then, yes, thank you. And then they saka mariawo yeseka yavano producer ka. They don't spend it. Because avana day-to-day expenses you and me have. Because all the food they eat is fresh produce. You understand wisdom, guys? Saka iwewe is a woman in Harare. How could you make sure you don't spend $1 every day? You need wisdom. Unotadzere kwana chimunda cha unorimisa haya vanhu werima fresh produce pagore, it comes to you. These are simple things that we can work with to save the little that we have. And then because I'm supposed to be going to be wrapping up, I'm going to go straight my nuggets that I have for what we can do to invest right now in Zimbabwe. So I want to see people who are not employed, variku hustler. Let's see the hustlers. Right? We got a good amount of hustlers, right? Amazing, right? Okay, and then those who are in corporate, very employed, repa pay slip. Look at that. Look at that. Amazing stuff. Right. That's fine. That's fine. Because what you want as a woman is to have a full-time job, but also have what we call a sidekick. But not at the expense of the employer. I need to make that clear. Right. So, what opportunities are Muno Marare right now for all of us? My desire and my dream is that I think we should all of us, there is no reason why we shouldn't have a property portfolio. And this equity, why not? Because, let me start with those who are in full-time employment. Nyayeku have a proper bank account, it is functional, is important. In the world in the space I operate, is that it creates what we call your credit rating or your credit portfolio. It's a point of reference for the main system to identify uruku, you've got money going and money going out. Which information when a bank can a mortgage? You can ask me, Fungai, kuni mortgages in Zimbabwe? RT. Not yesterday, the day before I was at CBZ signing my document. They had my files up to here of my loans that they can give to you and me for a mortgage. Now, what do I mean when I start a property portfolio? You need wisdom. And I've always said to myself, rather than having a big house in Harare that I don't even live in, I invest in my properties which can be let. Because it's an expense, it's a liability. But how about investing into my small houses? At the moment, kuna Mastains, kuna na Budiriro, kuna na Glenview, Marondera is going to come up in a few months' time. CBZ tells me Mastains are going from 7,000. Sakashinukutadzisa with the money you have or work towards it. Kutenga your first and second and third. That's what I call investment, because those things, unema title deeds, no one can take away from you. You can live for your children. And again, wisdom. I'm not saying there's anything wrong to have a big house and a nice house. We all want those things. But why would I invest 700,000 in building a house? Which 700,000 I could build a house which is just good enough size for me and my children. And then the rest, if I've got access to money, I invest. Because what happens in Bayamulko Gara, if anything happens to it, then what? Your whole investment and everything is gone. And investment is something that brings you back money. It forms a stream of income. So all of us right now, right here, those who are in the corporate space, you can start because mutorinema pay slips. And if your employer is paying you cash, I would encourage you, like she was saying, go in the main system. Main system. Someone is saying something. Speak up. It's okay. Huh? Speak up, girls.
What do you mean by the main system?
What I mean by the main system is to be able to do my transactions in Maria Ichishanda through your bank account or through, I know we've been let down in Zimbabwe and my banks and all these things. But that's the only way you can get into the proper investment ladder. Isiri hustling yekuti I've got my sidekick zangu ndinoita ndichamanya ku Dubai ndimbodai ukafuma ukachikoka gombo. No, I'm being serious, guys. This is how I think. Ukafuma ukachikoka gombo, what happens to your children? Yeah? So we want to invest in solid things, really tangible. Property is something that I've picked Munom Zimbabwe at the moment. Property market is depressed. And this is the right time to go in. Identify my smaller properties where you can either put it on your own or you can do it as a group. That's one thing I've identified. Another thing is those who hustle. How can you make your hustle on bigger scale? Because scalability is the most important thing. It's better to have I don't want you to stress yourself and think too big. Start with 10 customers that really love what you do, that really love your services. Because with those 10, they can then refer the next 10. And that's how we build in all our businesses. We have got a referral scheme. Refer a friend and I'll pay you $500. Refer a friend and I'll pay you £500. Because we know that word of mouth is the strongest way of marketing. And it's easy when we network like this to spread the word, right? So your hustle, whatever you do in your hustle, I want you to think about how can you make that hustle have a solid structure. What do I mean by a solid structure? Mariako ya oningewa hustler must go into the main banking system and out because you are building a record and a portfolio. And then when you do that, like she was encouraging, we are now digitalizing in Zimbabwe, trust me, because we are going digital. So, with your hustle, how can you be part of that change and impact? But at the same time, your target is to make sure when we look at your bank statement, we can see $1 million. That record is what empowers you. Does that make sense, guys? Let me ask questions. So, I invest big time. We run a healthcare recruitment business that is UK based. But what I decided to do, me and my husband, we decided we needed to be autonomous and be independent. But you cannot have a business that will not order if it can see a structure. So we invested in technology and built a system that allows us to run our business to sit on the ground. So we employ people on the ground, but we can see whatever is happening in the business on our dashboards. So investing is key in everything that you do. So healthcare recruitment, and then after that was born our technology business. So we also own and run a technology business. We actually do the writing and the development of the software. We employ engineers, just about in the region of 80 engineers. And they do software writing for banks, for hospitals, and for anybody else. So we call it fintech and healthcare space. So basically that's what we are behind the scenes, the brains, which is my mobile apps and mobile banking. Very soon, we're able to open my bank accounts on your phones because we've just recently finished running and layering a software in it as well. So we are an aggregator, basically. Company, I think, in short.
So Fungai, here's the question. Now, this is Zimbabwe. When I invited someone, I went to this lovely woman's business and there she is. And I said to her, she does tracksuits, so if you guys want my tracksuits, I was getting a tracksuit for golf because I've been rained on the golf course quite a lot. And thanks for, you know these things about inspiring. The other thing I'll tell you about inspiration, sometimes you get inspired from afar. This woman is an avid golfer who made me fall in love with golf even when I thought I couldn't play golf. And she's the reason why I came to your factory.
Absolutely amazing.
Because Odilin is such an avid golfer. And I fell in love with the sport because she's so passionate in her golfing. So I went to her factory and we were talking and I told her about this event and I said, from UK. She was, UK, I know about how to run business in Zimbabwe. Okay, so you're coming from an environment where you have capital.
Sure.
We don't have capital. So how can we upscale in the Zimbabwean economy to become millionaires in our context?
Good.
Because I can't go to MBCA and POSB or any other bank just in jail because I don't have title deeds. I don't have anything decent for collateral. But how can I then grow from where I am in Zimbabwe to be able to also build a business that leaves a legacy?
Okay. Thank you for that question. I asked how many of us have got mobile phones?
Everyone.
We all do, right? Mm-hmm. I am going to teach you to hustle from a mobile phone. Your mobile phone is the #1 business tool that you have. Right now, right here. And why am I saying that? Because if you can make sure that you are able to put data on your mobile phone, unogona kutengesa musika wako wematomati from your mobile phone. Right? And then, how do you then... Okay. From your mobile phone. Why am I saying that? Because I teach on these things. Start with what you have. So, for the person asina capital, asina chainacho. The #1 capital you have right now, Uchibuda, in this room, is you. You are #1 capital. I want you to think about your hustle or what you do. Or if you are employed, how much are you earning every month? Okay, because this is a journey, like we said, take overnight. Of the money yauri kutambira pamwedzi, or of the money that you are hustling every month, how much of that money are you putting aside? That's a good place to start. Is it $100? Is it $200? Then we can think about, with the $100 that I have or with the $200 that I have, what can I tap into right now that can help me to make money? Okay? So it's a nice way to start. We started with £500.
So getting back to the mobile phone issue, what do I do with my smartphone? I've got an iPhone 6 Plus. What do I do with it?
I want one example where Muna ani hustle. Oh, my sister, you stand up. This is my sister. I met her online. Yes, you. Stand up so people can see you. Sonia is amazing. I'll tell you how she connects with the world. Then some of you can learn. I was looking for somebody. You can sit down. Thank you, Sonia. I didn't know her face. I didn't know who Sonia was. And I am outside the country. I'm abroad, right? Sonia has got a decorating business based events management. And she is based per village. So I went online. Mobile phone. I would need the whole day. But I'm going to give you snippets. Nichitraga, event planners in Zimbabwe. That's what I Googled. So your social media, your Facebook, I could do a lesson on Facebook, is not for posting your faces. So with that, I'll just finish on. I found her and I sent a message and she says, Funga, can I WhatsApp? I'm like, there we go. I don't like WhatsApp. So I said, I need your email. I need to do send over email. What are your prices? What are your this? She emails me the price list. She arranged everything in my absence. And I paid. Saka, whatever hustle you have, what am I saying? Position yourself in the right space for my customers or target. Then make it look good, because the people you want to target, for people to spend money, they must connect with whatever you are doing. Saka, in any below standard, I don't pay for. But as long as it's matching to the standard, so we can pay. I went to Budiriro, ndakaona mkazi online. Ndakutaga masetis for the office. I went to Budiriro, drove to a house. Ndishida kuona masetis aitengesa. And I was honest with her. My dear sister, masofa kwa kanaka. But there is no attention to detail. So she lost a customer. Right? So with your hustle, with whatever you do, raise the standard. Then Maria, a price ya mninga reputanzi eva na vatenge. That's a lie. How come uvuzi mnoritenga? Yeah. So raise the standard and raise the bar. Focus on quality. If you can make one customer happy, which things are $500, they will refer me. Now Sonia, I'm now her brand ambassador in my own time. And people in my network are going to use Sonia from now on. Okay. Does that make sense? So there you go.
My next question. There are a lot of women who are employed, represented by these brands here. POSB, Tel One, Providence, Keynes, DHL, Nichols Diamond. There's MBC. There's so many other companies. A lot of companies represented here.
Sure.
But they also want to make something of themselves beyond what they're doing.
Sure.
So not everybody is conditioned to actually run a business. But does it mean that just because you have an 8 to 5, you also can't pursue your dreams and do other things? What can they do in terms of creating multiple streams of income? Is it even possible to make money out of an extra stream of income outside your work?
Absolutely. So one of my students, she lives in California. She was a designer. She's a designer in a 9-to-5 job. So she reached out to me when I was doing my coaching and said, Fungai, I am tired of 9 to 5. I want something outside 9 to 5. So I say to her, look, let's do a list of all your skills, knowledge, things that you have gained in your current job right now. If you listed those things, how about you position yourself as a consultant or for consultancy services outside of work, right? There are a lot of people right now, I'll give myself as an example. For our work that we are doing in Zimbabwe, we don't want to employ people full-time. One of the people we were looking for is a consultant in HR. So I was looking for someone, Anoshanda 9-to-5 job as a HR manager, but I want them to do our HR outside their 9 to 5. So we have got someone, we pay them $500 a month for giving us 2 days a week of their time. So with your 9 to 5, the skills, knowledge that you have right now, how can you brand yourself and position yourself as a consultant? The key thing, nice, beautiful website, easy way to reach. Make it easy to reach and consult. And you can even do virtual consultation. I don't want to see you face to face. I want to be able to consult with you ndiri kwa ndiri through Skype. And I pay you for consulting. So that's another way of looking at it. I have got a virtual team. My team, I don't know them face to face. Some in Philippines, some in India, some in California. And we just connect virtually. It's a global village. Why are you limiting yourself? And most Zimbabweans, vanema businesses and properties here, very outside Zimbabwe. So you can tap into that Forex, but it's got to be quality, it's got to be attention to detail, and it's got to be spot on. I don't care the price. I don't look at the price. I look at quality.
Do you have any other questions, ladies? Anyone with a burning question? If you've got a question on the piece of paper on your table. Yes.
Nyari, the question is for both you and Fungai. Every time we meet extraordinary women like yourselves, you speak about networking and you just said make sure that you rub shoulders with the right people, etc. So you inspire us, then we get excited. How is the appropriate way to then network and begin to build relationships with such women without it sounding like I'm stalking you on Facebook? So after this meeting, I'm texting you, it feels kind of awkward. But how do you then make those kind of connections with them?
I'll give you a very good example that is... When you network and you want to network or be mentored, you have to give value to the person that you want to learn something from. So giving value sometimes is just being available, some small gestures of kindness. One of my greatest mentors, and I will pay a tribute to the women I look up to later on, is Nancy Guja. So I admired Nancy Guja from a long time ago. And I just used to watch her and follow her on social media and just follow her life. So sometimes a mentor or someone that you network with, you don't have to talk to them every day. I told you how I've gotten into golf and addicted to golf, not even because I talk to Odina and we sit down and we talk about golf. I think I've only played one game with her, but watching. So I watched Nancy, and as Nancy was doing her thing, and anything that she did, I would blow her trumpet. So I'd go on Twitter to be like, congratulations, Nancy, because you're winning. And I take her, and I inbox her, and she wasn't even my friend. Well done, Nancy, you're really inspiring us. And any opportunity I said, and you pay a compliment, and you follow and you add value. As time grew on, every success and everything that she did, I watched. Every opportunity I saw her, asked a question, paid a compliment, and gave value. And as time grew, I got to know her actually, and then we developed a relationship. And she's a very good mentor. But it started from me. So you don't just walk into people's spaces and just network.
Okay, that's another thing I was going to leave you guys with. But what I encourage locally is that, for example, having a breakfast meeting like this one, whether you've got a membership or whatever, because it's so important to belong to a group of women that think the same and you speak the same language. Because once you leave this room, everybody out there doesn't understand how you've been impacted, right? So from now on, it's important to form small groups of network. We call them accountability master groups, masterminds. So how do those masterminds work? We connect virtually. And I have got a mastermind group that I belong to at my level, and it's got people who are way ahead of me where I want to go. So identify women. Don't mastermind with your friends who are you are at the same level with. How are you going to add value? So look for women that are doing far much more than you want to do, right? And those are the people you want to learn the ropes from, right? So you can connect virtually, whatever works for you, or 2 hours on a Saturday, or whatever after hours. But that connection needs to grow. And some masterminds and some things is paid for. I pay a lot of money to belong to a mastermind with people making millions and billions. But I pay that money because I need to be in that space, because that's where I'm going. So for you, it's not going to be free. But if you can start a free one, that's fine. But if you want people who can add value, look for people who have walked that journey, because they can teach you the exact ropes, and then belong to that group of women and be encouraged. And then maybe once a quarter, every quarter or something, come together as a mastermind, identify what's going on with Zimbabwe. I was listening on the radio when I was driving 2 days ago. I've made a note on my phone that there's been money given available now to women in Zimbabwe. Find out more information about that. How about approaching those women in the cabinet and talk to them?
You said you had up.
I was actually going to touch on the issue of networking. I think one of the things you want to do from a distance, like what you were touching on, is get to know who this person is. I remember there's a very now she's prominent pastor, and I really admired what she was all about. So I approached her and I said, "Can you mentor me?" And she asked me, "What exactly do you want me to mentor you in?" So she then gave me homework, which was very welcome. And she says to me, "Can you find out who I am, what I do, and what it is that you want from my life?" And that homework really helped me. And I actually do that with people that I see from a distance. And what I do is I look at, let's say, for example, Tori. And I'm like, what is it about Tori? I like this about her. So I go and I research around that. And then I search so that when I'm having conversations with her, this is what we discuss. This is what I'm finding. But at the same time, I notice gaps around her. And then when I'm coming in, like I'm social media, I'm on the creative, I'm on this side. So I'm also then kind of dropping like, this is what I also do. But I would like you to help me with this because you're very brilliant and yada yada. And then I'm kind of giving that history. So you find with time, she's going to say, Tendo, can you do this for me? This is how I found myself doing things for big people. And I find myself in certain spaces, I'm like, okay, I don't know why I'm here. And then they're all gushing about me and I'm just in awe the whole time. So that could be one tip that you could use. Find out what it is exactly, specifically that you want from a person. Like for example, from Nyari, what do you want exactly that you want from her? What do you admire? If it's dressing, follow her. Find the clothes she wears and all that and find out. If it's business, do that. Because people are so...
Thank you. Does anyone else have a question?
I've got a question. I'm really passionate about issues to do with disabilities, right? So since 2014, I've been organizing my Parent Support Network meetings. And beginning this year, I've moved into the high density areas, Kumbari. And I've met a lot of parents with disabilities. But they are coming from a background yekuti vatori vanhu vasina. And inini, my main aim is I want to have the parents equipped for them to be able to take care of their children, even vari kumba. It doesn't necessarily mean kuti kana usina maybe pamwe the schooling system irikutadza kutora mwana wako, but unai ari kumba. I'm coming from a point of view yekuti even muri kumba you are able to do something kubatsira mwana wako. So now I've been thinking kuti everything that I've been doing, I've been funding everything. So I'm thinking kuti maybe I now need to move from that point where I'm having to foot the bills for everything that I'm doing to maybe starting to realize some form of income or something. But I don't really know how to go about it.
We all go through the same when we are starting our business journey. Like I said, we are starting from minus. So our business is born from the paycheck. But the number one lesson that I learned is that we learn from our failures. That's number one. And then number two, now that you've got customers coming in, what structure, a simple structure do you have for onboarding clients, for claiming your payments? Because business is not business until the money is in your bank account. So what process do you have? How do you onboard a client? How do they pay for the service? And how do you make sure that by the time you deliver the service, you've got your payment? I will tell you, Sonia was like, Fungai, I need my money in my bank account before everything. I had a payment plan because I hired her at the beginning of the year, but I paid her everything before she could deliver. That's one thing that I would do a lesson on how to have that simple structure that allows you to make sure money is in your bank account. Because without that, you can have all the orders in the world. The money needs to be in your bank account at some point, right? So it's having that. Yes. So, but the claiming of the payment process. Yeah? And then, sorry, I was going to answer on how to find customers. Guys, finding customers is very easy. But however, I don't know about your tailoring. This was made here in Zimbabwe. It's about how you position yourself. I did a course, how to position yourself for success. When you are setting your business up, who is your target customer? Is it the people with money? Is it the medium? Is it the no monies? Who? And then if you can answer that question, how can you position yourself for them? How can you make sure if you want me to buy your stuff, I see it and I connect with it? If you get that right, you can't go wrong.
Okay, you'll chat with her later. Before I come to Mumbai again, I mean, we're just doing prize giving. It's Women's Day. We're celebrating women who inspire us and who are just lovely like that. I just also, one of the women who happens to inspire me is here, and I want to just give her a prize. Odeline, thank you for inspiring my golf game. One of the things I love about her, and I wanted to comment about Fungai. Fungai kendenge mambozona. There's a level of self-assurance that you get to where you go to watch a movie in a pajama or to the shops. It's like Steve Jobs always rocking up in a black polo neck, even in front of presidents. When you're so assured of yourself and you're confident because you've actually achieved what you need to achieve. This is also another woman, Asinga Kendenge. She just has so much passion and zeal for her life and she just lives it. And you and inspiring other people in the way you live your life. Thank you. You had a question.
Yes, my question is, I've always been in the formal industry ever since I left school, and I would like a side kick, right? But I can't sell. Network marketing hasn't worked. So how then do I identify a space that I can do something to make money with? From a consultation place, I'm in accounting, so I usually work 7 to 10. Right? So then, how then do I identify something that I can do that can still make money and I can be the queen that I should be because salary is not enough?
Okay, I'm going to come back to my comments about looking at your skills. That accounting experience you have, it's not something that somebody can go and buy. It's not somebody that can go and get from uni. That's what you have, right? How can we monetize that is what we need to look at. So outside your working hours, what elements of accounting you could create an accounting service. Online, again, I'm going to focus for online, not physical, because online positions you for anybody, anywhere in the world. Then once you've done that, if you are not in that business Monday to Friday, how can you automate your processes that your customers, when they send in a question, answers can be done. And that can all be automated, that whole process. Trust me, from your mobile phone, right? It's just really learning. And you will ask me, Fungai, where am I going to learn? First, let's identify your skills. And then number 2, YouTube is your number 1 teacher. So thank you so much, guys. I want you to walk with boldness.
I'm Tembi Kumalo. I've just come from the Queen Makers Breakfast. What an amazing event. I loved Fungai Ndemera's presentation. I loved her energy and the inspiration that she gave us by sharing the story of her life. I hope to see her again soon.
So this is my first time attending Queen Makers and it's been a fantastic opportunity. What did I learn today? A lot. But if I can mention 2 things, property portfolio. I think that's really important, at least for me going forward. And the other thing, I'm going to check my phone just in case. Accountability. What did she say? Mastermind. I thought that was really important as well. You know, network with people who are of like-minded. So I would like to pursue that going forward.
Well, I think from this meeting, basically, the thing that you learn is focusing on the people you play with, focusing on your energies and trying to feed your brains mostly what builds you. And once you build yourself, then probably the people around you. But for now, being selfish. I think
my very first Queen Makers meeting, definitely an eye-opener. There were some decisions that I needed to make, and I think it'll be easier for me to make that decision after this meeting. I love being around women and the energy that they give each other when they're being positive. So for me, it was amazing. Thank you.
Right, my name is Sonia from Sonia's Events. I thank God for other big, bold women like Vicky Nyari, who was able to organize this for us. I've learned that you can be your own stumbling block. So from now on, why should I be my own stumbling block? The world is my oyster, so I'm going out there bigger, bolder and better. Thank you.
Well, today we celebrated Women's Day at Queen Makers, and like I always reiterate that change is intrinsic. Our problems and our solutions lie within us. It's not the economy or the politics of a nation, but it's actually the things and the decisions that we make every day. So just like we were saying today, be bold for change because it starts with you. So in anything in your life that you don't like, the change has to start from within you. That's how you see results and begin to affect your environment.
So today we just had a fantastic time with other ladies, learning about how to be bold for change. The most important takeaway, I think, is that change doesn't come from outside, it's an inside job. And as women, we can hear all the motivation about taking opportunities, growing, developing yourself, but unless you take that first step. And I think I was most inspired by Fungai's story about how she came from adversity that's far worse than I could even have imagined, in yet she continuously took those steps for change. And makes me feel more courageous about those smaller steps that I must be able to take when I go home today to make